All right, we're going to call this Finance Committee meeting to order. Present are council members Frazier, Cost, Bubb, Blake, and Marmee. First item on the agenda is a request for appropriation in the amount of $2,749. And also there's another one for $3,561. Might be Barbara's issue. Great.
Okay. This request pertains to our two traffic grants that we received from the state of Ohio for overtime enforcement. The STEP grant and the IDEP grant. This is for the first quarter. That grant, both grants follow the federal fiscal year that starts October 1st. So what I did was I divvied the grant up in a fourth per quarter. So that's what will start us October 1st with the first quarter of overtime work.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Frazier, second by Bubb. Any questions and or discussion? Mr. Frazier.
Is this for the alcohol drinking and driving prevention? Is that what this grant's for?
It is for overtime enforcement on 16, 13, 79, 21st Street. Alcohol's involved, seatbelts are involved, distracted driving, motorcycles.
It covers all of it?
Mm-hmm.
Any further questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a request for appropriation amount of $6,000.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This will come from the street fund, the unappropriated balance of the street fund. We want to transfer $6,000 into temporary services. This will allow me to keep on our temporary help a little longer this year. I've had a lot of rain, a lot of work still to do.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Bubb, second by Frazier. Questions and or discussion? Mr. Frazier.
The type of work they're doing, is it parks focused? Is it street focused?
That's a good question. They are doing some parks work, they're helping in the cemetery, and they are cutting on the highways, off the highways, and just cutting grass about everywhere, and helping patch holes.
And then how long do you expect this to last for?
It just depends on the weather and how many we use each week. But it'd be enough for the season.
Any other questions? I just want to make a comment. I was out at the cemetery this weekend. I always take my weed eater just in case. Didn't need it this time, so I greatly appreciate it. The cemetery looked nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Seeing no further questions or discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda is a request for appropriation in the amount of $250,000.
Yeah, this is $115,000 from Services General and $135,000 from uniform salaries. What I'll say is this is going for the ladder truck, so that we don't have to borrow as much. This past week, I met with Assistant Chief Simmons and Lori Resta, and we went through the fire salaries. Let me add a caveat into that. Fire is one vacancy short of being full, and the chief forwarded me a name that they're going to get started on for a background, polygraph, psych evaluation, and physical that'll bring them up to full. So the vacancies throughout the year have allowed for us to take advantage of this with $135,000 from salaries. I went through what they've used for overtime over the last 5 years. They're trending well right now, being at full staffing. What this does not represent is an additional $50,000 in salaries that could be moved to overtime should something catastrophic happen and need to dip into that. So I am wholly satisfied that, barring an unforeseen catastrophic event, the fire department has enough to get through the year.
I'll make a motion. Second.
Motion by Frazier, second by Bub. Questions and/or discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Frazier.
What is it 78? That's the full count for the fire department?
79 is full.
79?
They're at 78 right now.
Okay.
Any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. The motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda is a request for a transfer. It's the same money that we just had, but it has to be moved this way for $250,000. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Bub, second by Frazier. Questions and/or discussion?
So,
Yes.
my question is, what's the turnaround time to get the ladder truck here? Do we have to, is it after this passes out of committee? Do we purchase a ladder truck? Do we already have it? What's the next step with that?
I would imagine that if at council tonight it passes the full vote of council, I'm going to expect them to bring it because you've approved it and it's a done deal. It's all done but the paperwork. So I think they'll feel a whole lot better about starting the process. I can't give you an exact date.
Yeah.
But I will say that with your approval tonight, they won't sell it to anybody else.
And I don't know if it's the service director, the assistant chief, or the chief. What do we have to do in order to get it operational and ready? Is there a turnaround
That would be a
time?
question for the chief or the assistant chief.
So the hoses and the gear and the prep work we have to do to the truck to get it ready, how long does it take it to be operational? And you have the assistant chief here if you want to put him on the spot. I don't know.
Chief Simmons manages physical resources for us. He's down into the weeds on this quite a bit. However, once the truck's received, we have to a lot of stuff we got to do to it. Put Newark on the side of it, put radios in there, headsets, hearing protection, all those types of things take a little bit of time. I'm going to guess a month. Close enough?
Yeah, about 4 to 6 weeks.
4 to 6 weeks before, and then of course everyone will be trained on it. The company that will sell the truck to us will provide training on the apparatus for everybody that works there. So we'll have 3 or 4 days at least of training on that apparatus. That's included in the cost of the purchase as well. So.
Very good, thank you.
Okay.
Any further questions or discussion? Yes, Ms. Kraus.
Chief, the extras that you just described, are those also included in the price of the truck, the things that we want to do to it? Are there additional
There'll be additional charges that we'll have to purchase things for that apparatus. However, we have, through gov deals and things, we've started to streamline and reduce the amount of inventory that we have and sold things on gov deals and created a line item that we're going to use that money to pay for these things on the ladder truck. So we won't be coming back to ask for money for that.
Any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
And with that, this meeting stands adjourned. Next up, I believe, is service.
Okay, we'll call the capital improvement, I'm sorry. We'll call the service committee meeting to order. Those present are myself, Rath, Cost, Bud, Blake, and Lang.
You'll get it one of these times.
I actually wrote them all. Yeah, I did that. First, discuss ordinance number 18-33, annexing certain territory generally described as being 0.56 acres, more or less, located in Newark Township to the city of Newark, Ohio. Mr. Sass.
Mr. Chairman, this is the last step in an expedited 2 annexation process that began several months ago. You'll recall this is one up in Derby Downs where a gentleman was trying to annex the vacant lot next to his property. His property was in the city of Newark. That was in Newark Township. He was trying to annex it into the city so he could both access Newark City water and sewer and do a lot combination as part of his estate planning process. the next step would simply be passing this on to full council for acceptance of this property into the city of Newark. I received an email today from the gentleman's attorney, the applicant's attorney. It appears the gentleman is deceased, and his widow, I think, will be withdrawing this petition to annex. Having said that, however, I'm going to ask the committee to pass this out of committee and on to council so that their attorney and I will have an opportunity to discuss it more fully before it comes before council for a final vote.
This won't go to planning commission?
No, this has already been to planning commission and back, and then over to the county commissioners again, and now it's back to us as part of the final step to simply say, yes, we want it, or no, we don't. The step at the planning commission was the consent or object. This is just the final step in the process where we would have to formally accept the property into the city of Newark if we choose to do that. I want you to pass it on to council tonight, and then before it comes to a vote at council, I'll have more information from the applicant's attorney as to whether they intend to go forward or not.
It'll give you 4 or 5 weeks to clear all that up.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions? Motion by Cost.
Second.
Seconded by Lang. Any questions from the committee? Any questions from the audience? Seeing none. All those in favor of passing this on to council signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That passes 5-0. Service Committee is now adjourned. Up next will be capital improvements.
Okay, I'd like to call this meeting of the Capital Improvements Committee to order. Those present are myself, Lang, Labutus, Rath, Hall, and Fennell. Up first, we've got ordinance. I don't have a number on it. It's an appropriation in the amount of $250,000 for new fire apparatus.
Resolution 1878.
1878. Thank you. Director
Yes, sir.
Baum.
As you can see from the Finance Committee's approval, they've approved the transfer. We would like to put this $250,000 towards the purchase of a roughly $850,000 ladder truck for the fire department to bring our debt service down a little bit and to more effectively use our budget at the fire department for the purchase.
Motion by Labutus, second by Rath. Any questions from the committee? Questions from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor of sending this on to full council signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That passes 5-0.
Thank you, sir.
This committee stands adjourned, and we'll re-adjourn for full council at 7 o'clock.